Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Calvert alongside my good friend, Father Joe Grimaldi, and welcome to the Father Joe Podcast. The Father Joe Podcast is proudly supported by Houghton McInerney Star Lincoln, 12 Mile Road, east of Telegraph in Southfield. Want to talk to you about the all-new 2019 Lincoln Nautilus. You get an impressive twin-turbocharged 2.7-liter engine with a fuel economy rating of 27 miles per gallon. 22-way adjustable seats, a Revel audio system, a panoramic Vista sunroof, and an absolutely incredible tech package. Make sure to ask about instant savings. Those savings are available as well on the full lineup of Houghton McInerney Star Lincolns, including the Lincoln MKC. Stop on by and make sure you tell them you heard about Star Lincoln on the Father Joe Podcast. Houghton McInerney Star Lincoln on 12 Mile Road, just east of Telegraph, or visit starlincoln.com. Did you see this Operation Varsity Blues, Father Joe Grimaldi?
Well, I've heard about it, that's for sure.
Came down on Tuesday of this week. Operation Varsity Blues, involving, I think, up to 30 people, a couple of well-known actors, actually actresses, Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives, I believe, and Lori Loughlin from Full House, and now the newer one on Netflix called Fuller House. They were cheating the system, paying this guy up to $500,000 to get their children into really difficult universities. Very difficult. I would have never gotten into any one of the 9 mentioned. I wouldn't have gotten in. I didn't have the numbers for that. So I wanted to get your thoughts. I mean, it's really interesting that people that really seem like good people. I mean, Lori Loughlin, for example, is all over the Hallmark Channel. And the Hallmark Channel is as good as the day is long, a nice day is long. So it was really surprising that she would do something like that, pony up $500,000 to get her 2 daughters fast-tracked into a major university. What are your thoughts on that situation?
I think, first of all, I want to say that when you see that happening, there's a reaction that says, well, maybe she loves those kids so much and wants to do the best for them and wants them to have the best education, the best possibilities for whatever type of work they will do eventually. But then when you think about it some more, what comes to my mind, a lot of it is selfish because it gives them the prestige that, well, my daughter is going to this school or that school. So it's the prestige that I think some people need so that they can show off what their children could do as opposed to the others. So yeah, I think it's a combination. I mean, besides the moral issue, the ethical issue, and so on and so forth. At first, let's say you want to do it for the good of the kids, but I think it's very often for the good of the parents.
Yeah, you think that maybe they want to brag on them a little bit. Oh, yeah. How are your daughters? The ones at Yale, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's doing quite well.
Yeah.
Well, here's the bad news about that. The daughter, or the daughters, the one has what she calls a YouTube television program, and she's on there a lot, and she has over 1 million followers, and one of her favorite things to do is talk about partying at school. She said, I love game day, and I love going to the parties. You know me, I don't like school. Well, then why did you go? Because you wanted to go to a place strictly to party. And it was just beyond, it really turned my stomach, basically. Now listen, we know cheating in high school goes on. It goes on everywhere. For some reason, it seems almost like a virus in high school. It's one that you can't escape, right?
There's no question.
Yeah.
Although I have a little funny quip on that.
Please do. That's where I wanted you to go.
Here I was in the front of the classroom, and I pointed to the kid to the very back seat where he was, and we were about to start an exam. And so I said to him, hey, Jack, bring up those crib notes. I didn't think he had anything.
Yeah.
He stood up and came forward to bring them up. And I couldn't stop laughing to myself because I had no idea that he had anything. I was trying to bring a little humor to the situation because there was so much tension. We were going to begin this exam, and so I just picked on Jack in the back seat. And so he stood up and brought them forward. So these things, definitely go on. I agree with you.
The SATs, the ACTs, the PSATs, you go through a series of exams to find out exactly where you are, where you stand. You're looking at me like, did I say one of those wrong?
No.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Okay, I'm thinking about it too because I know that I didn't do very well. I did well in certain areas. I'm not good at math. I will never be good at math. So that can really bust up your score a little bit. But we didn't know how to cheat on SATs or ACTs or even the PSATs. All of those tests that would be sophomore and junior year for the most part, right?
Primarily junior because it's right before the college
Right.
requires those test scores.
Well, this guy was enabling people to correct those scores, so he had to be working in concert with somebody at the university level to do this.
There's no question.
Yeah, so this thing is really complicated to the point where this is just bad because you know what it did, and you're going to speak to this as well. It kept somebody out of there that really deserved to go there based on their merit.
Even on something that's very honest and helpful and so on, there are tutoring organizations that do nothing but help kids do better on their SATs. And then they can take those more than once. And so they really work hard with those kids, and then eventually they get to a decent score. And even something like that, you wonder whether or not that should be allowed, only because if we're looking for natural ability in order to place people in their proper classes and so on, that's not so much natural if you have to work so hard to get to the next level of your score. So I wonder about that. I'm not an expert in that area. I certainly have been involved with learning, but I still don't know enough about that individual tutoring that goes on for the ACTs and the PSATs. I just don't know enough.
And you wonder if, in a way, those tutors are tipping the cards as well.
There's not much they can do on that unless they go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? If these tutoring organizations are all over Birmingham, there's lots of these groups that do nothing but that. And so you have parents that are so worried about whether or not their son or daughter is going to get into this university that they automatically enroll these kids for extra help with these tutors who just work with them very, very hard, so that they can progress and do better on the SAT scores. Now, as I said before, I know that you can take those tests more than once. And so after they've done the first one and they see that the score is not so great, well, then they work some more. Then they work some more. Now, they're getting paid in a very good way.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing a hard job. I think it's important that they do get paid. But I'm wondering if that gives you a true picture of who that kid is.
I'm wondering that, too.
And what if they didn't have the money to do it? See, this is the other thing.
Yeah.
You have a lot of kids, most kids. First of all, you know what it costs to apply to a university. The application alone puts people in financial questions. So if they're paying a lot of money for the application, and then they have to pay for extra tutors, the ordinary folks can't do it. And so are we leaving it only to the elite so that they can get this extra help and can do better? Now, I'm speaking about legitimately now. Obviously,
the
what
topic
we're
is
speaking about
cheating,
originally
but
was cheating.
That's fine.
They're not cheating, but they're doing this legitimately. But they also have the advantage because they're the elite, and they can pay for that help, whereas a lot of people can't.
Surely, and that's part of the problem, because the same parents that had the $500,000, now I believe Felicity Huffman, I think she only paid maybe
$250,000.
Yeah, or maybe $150,000, maybe as little as $15,000. I don't know. So we will fact check that. But either way, why not put that money into that mentoring, the tutoring, or really having a sit down with your kid saying, now look it, I understand the partying, I understand game day, that being a weekend where there's a football game or maybe a basketball game, and there's going to be some fun and there's going to be some partying.
Sure.
But there's going to have to be a strong commitment to your education, because that you're going to really need that when you get out of college to pursue a job. If not, most people now immediately go right for their masters. I mean, so they can go a cut above, or basically to participate in the 2019 workforce. With all of that said, I can't feel bad for anybody that has that sort of money and would designate it to that cause for their kids. They didn't do their kids any favors at all.
Or themselves.
Yeah. So they were cheating. The parents were cheating, and the kids, if the kids didn't know it, I would think they had to.
I think they had to know something.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know. We haven't seen any individual cases, but it seems to me that when you're in a family situation, somebody's talking, and eventually the news will get out.
Getting back to the high school portion of it, is that cause for one to be expelled?
A student?
Yes.
When you're speaking about, I think when you speak about expulsion, the end of the year exams that they take, the school has jurisdiction over that. But if they're cheating on the college level for something that they have to do for the college for their admittance, I don't know if the school is ever directly aware of it. It's only recently that they've come up with all of this information, because up until now, nobody even questioned what happened, except you do question at times. If you know an individual and his abilities, and then he tells you he's gone into Yale or Harvard, you can't help but think, wow. And I won't say anything further.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you got into Harvard, huh? You got into Yale. So anyway, we don't know about that. We only know what goes on in the classroom, and so that you can control. If there is serious cheating going on, certainly there's some disciplinary measures that do take place. Whether it's expulsion for the first time, I don't know, depending on how serious it is. Is this something that the kid is doing on a regular basis? How complicated is it, and far-reaching?
Do you think it happens in high school, too, where the parents, not getting back to the mentor or the tutor, but do you think there are parents out there that say, look, isn't there a copy of that test you could get in advance? Don't you think parents are kind of guilty of that on occasion, limited occasion?
First of all, you're putting me on a spot here.
Okay.
Because
well, I
if
don't mean
it's something
to do that.
I knew, I should have done something about, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
honest,
of course
I
not.
didn't. But could it happen? I surely think that it could. Nobody is free from being bribed. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you could bribe almost anybody. Okay. It's like the proverbial sports coach who says to the English teacher, "Hey, come on, he's got to play on Friday. What are you doing?
He's my ace."
Yes, you can't do this. All right, help him out. And so the teacher inevitably would say, okay, he'll have to come into class in the afternoon on Thursday, and we'll see what he can do then, and then I'll see if he could get in. Certainly cheating takes place in a lot of places. For example, I spent many years in Hawaii.
Of course.
Hawaii is an interesting place when it comes to sports. There's no gambling allowed in Hawaii. However, there's more gambling that goes on Friday and Saturday nights than you can shake a stick at, more than Las Vegas. They love to gamble. And I say they, generally speaking. Now, you would think it would be big-time stuff. Well, very often it's high school stuff.
Oh.
So they get to the quarterback of the football team and, pay him big bucks. Just so that he
really
throws the game or whatever the case might be. And this would happen inevitably. Gambling is so strong in Hawaii that you have to be careful about that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And it does happen. Speak about cheating. Yes, it does.
Yeah. There are so many levels and tiers to cheating, and we could go on.
Yeah.
We could do 4 hours on cheating.
Right.
Coming up next hour, we'll talk about marital cheating, Staying with just the academic side of it and the sports side, because the two are really married.
Sure.
They really are. Yeah, I didn't think about that when I was writing down a couple of notes. The coach and the teach get together and kind of a what's it worth to you? You know what I mean?
And sometimes the teacher is just too weak to say no.
That's a good point. Yeah, because coaches...
He's afraid.
Well,
not afraid, intimidated.
Of course, I was going to say sometimes coaches can be stereotyped, being sort of like...
Hey, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Hey, Mahoney, come over here for a minute. No, your class can wait. It can wait. This can't, okay? I don't know if you noticed, but you see that down there? That's the gym. And we're playing a big game on Friday night, okay? So you know where I'm going with that.
Exactly.
That did not happen. I'm telling you honestly, we did a lot of wild and crazy things when I was in high school at Brother Rice, okay? I graduated in 1969. Got in some trouble.
Wow, you're old.
Yeah, I am. Thanks for reminding me, by the way. And by the way, you're older and you'll always be older.
Much older.
Okay. And you cheat about your age, too, as a matter of fact. I know that because I saw your driver's license once.
That's right. I try.
All right. But getting back to my point here, getting back to the point about cheating and, again, how it works in high school and academics and in coaching and all of that. I think, in a way, I was not aware of how widespread it really is. Yeah. It goes on a lot.
Yeah.
It seems to be, and I'll use this word, it seems to be one of those sins that, everybody does it. Is that a good way of describing it?
Sadly.
Yeah.
Because, when you're dealing with education, you want to be able to think that the ethical aspect comes into play and that a teacher is not going to weaken on that, whether it be paying somebody or accepting the bribe, if you want.
Yeah.
So, but human beings, being who they are, sometimes are weak and they're going to give in to the situation. I agree with you. It is widespread. I don't know to what level it has reached because, maybe I was blind to it when I was there, but at the school, I'm sure some of it must have gone on. Do remember in Hawaii, though, because people would take that quarterback and pay him to throw the game.
I suspect that would happen a little bit in Texas, too, where, Friday Night Lights, I'm sure that's... Hey, look, we all know that it didn't start in the boxing ring, let's put it that way. It didn't start with a movie about a guy taking a dive. But it's sad that it happens. This is hypothetical, I guess, or just throwing that out there. Do you think it's worse now than it was? Given the fact that there are so many tools out there to sort of aid and assist in the cheating process?
I would think it's the opposite. I think today there's much more of a dedicated type of thought when it comes to education and cheating and things of this sort. That doesn't eliminate the number of people that have been doing it for a long time and will continue to do cheating as time goes on. There's always going to be that percentage. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, I don't know if this is better or worse than it ever was.
With the assets available now, too, with the internet, online, basically taking courses at home. So many people now take courses from their home, and, you still have to study. And then
plagiarism.
I've always thought that it was hard to do, basically, when it was all in the library. You know what I mean? And making copy after copy after copy. Cut and paste now, baby. And change a few adjectives and a couple of move that sentence around a little bit, and there, it's never been seen presented that way before.
I think whenever the grading system has to occur, there might have to be, nowadays more than ever before, an interview with the individual to see if that person really has the ability to produce what is being presented.
Yeah.
Because plagiarism is so easy to come by with, as you say, with the internet.
I'd like to do a synonym check on plagiarizing and just see if it says cheat.
That could be too. Yeah, well, that's what it is.
To cheat. Well, I want to thank you. Interesting. I didn't cheat you out of any time at all here today.
Oh.
Final question. What an odd place it would be, the seminary, for someone to cheat. Do you think, in your wildest dreams, that anybody would cheat in the seminary to advance his position?
You know, I told you this before, and it applies even there to the seminary. Corruptio optimi pessima est.
And
I think we cannot treat seminarians or priests or bishops or cardinals, we can't treat them like saints on a pedestal. They're human beings. And whenever you have human beings, you have sin. And whenever you have human beings, you have failure. Whenever you have human beings, there's cheating. So there.
and once again, what is that Latin proverb? Translate it for me.
Oh, the corruption of the best is the worst.
Yeah, I love that. It's written on a Post-it note. Right. I swear to you, I'm not making that up. You come over here and look. It's written down. All right. Well, thank you so much, Father Joe, for delivering once again a beautiful job on the podcast.
I'm happy to do it.
We look forward to seeing you on the next Father Joe podcast. I'm Ken Calvert, along with Father Joe, brought to us by Hoot McInerney's Star Lincoln 12 Mile Road and Telegraph. Until then, y'all be well. See you next time.
I look forward to it. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe podcast.
If you'd like, you can email us. It's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. That's frjoepodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook. Simply search Father Joe Grimaldi. And thanks for listening, everyone.